Hey everybody! Today's going to be super chill, not highly edited. We're just going to have a chit chat. I'm going to answer the questions that you guys gave me over on YouTube and on Instagram, where I can't answer all of them because you literally left me like 40 questions, but I'm going to answer a few of them. We're going to decorate this tree. Basically just a really cozy, chatty video. I'm pretending that it's really cold outside when in reality it's like 70 degrees, but we do have a cold front moving in, so I'm going to channel that energy. And yeah, let's chat. But as we decorate, I'm going to answer your questions. You guys had some great ones. So let me grab my iPad and we'll start with the first question. Okay, the first question is sticking to my niche. This is from a wonderful channel called Aging on Your Terms. And she's asking, what's the biggest lesson you've learned as a caregiver that changed how you are planning for your later years? Whew, this is a big question. Okay, so some of you may not know, my mom was diagnosed almost 3 years ago now with Alzheimer's and vascular dementia. And the process of getting her from living independently in her own home to realizing that she couldn't drive anymore, to realizing that she really couldn't even live by herself at all anymore, was very exhausting and very challenging for all of us. And I have actually had a very long conversation with my grown kids about how, and Scott and I both, about how we want to handle the last chapter of our life. The level of denial with my mom's generation, which is called, I think, the silent generation. She's not a boomer. She was just before the boomers. The level of denial about their own demise is unreal. And I think we're seeing it play out in certain public figures right now. Like this idea that they're just never going to become incapacitated is so short-sighted and so frustrating for family members, and quite frankly, very, very dangerous. When we took mom's car keys away, it was at the point where she really could have hurt somebody. And so I'm not going to do that. And we are putting a lot of things in place so that everyone is clear on what our wishes are. So even if Scott and I should start to decline cognitively, we've had that conversation in advance because we do not want to put our kids through what we have been through with mom. Love mom. It's an honor and a privilege to do it, but this has been truly absurd. And if she had started this process 10 years ago when we first started talking to her about it, so many of these things would have been so much easier. So that's been my big takeaway. Take good care of your health, listen to your kids, and understand that you are going to get to a point where you cannot take care of yourself. And what do you want that to look like? Because if you don't make choices for yourself, others will end up making choices for you. And as mom has unfortunately had to live through, sometimes you're not going to like the choices that have to be made. So yeah, that wasn't a very bright and happy start, but it is bright and happy because it's about establishing, it's about being realistic about our future and making good plans and working alongside our kids to make sure that we have a future that we can all be happy, where their lives can go on happily without feeling like they're constantly worried that Scott and I are making poor choices. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Question number 2. And you guys know how these go. There's never like any good segue in between the questions because they're always all over the place. Personally, as someone who watches a lot of Q&As, that's kind of what I like about it. So that's okay. Hey Jen, as my Southern Auntie Ally, which I've decided is my superhero name. Absolutely love that. This came from Emily Morton. Would love to know what you're reading these days. With the news, what it is. Are you a deep dive op-ed girl, escapism novel reader, or something in between? So I'm trying to read more. I better start decorating or we're never going to get this tree done. I'm trying to read more novels. I have the latest Emily Henry book on my nightstand. I just got done reading. Of course, I read Full of Myself by Austin Channing Brown, because if y'all don't know, Austin talks a lot about racial justice and all white supremacy, and it can be a little on the deep side. But she's also wildly funny. And so it's also written as a memoir. So I didn't feel like that was it wasn't really depressing at all. It's an excellent book. And then I went straight from that to reading Jen Hatmaker's latest book, Awake, which was very, very good. I had some thoughts about it that I'm not going to share because I just adore her. But the community in which she had her marriage breakup was so not what most people have when they go through something like that, that made it a little unrelatable for me. just because that's just not normal what she had. And she would be the first one to say that, by the way. But that was a really good read. But I need to read the Emily Henry book. If I'm being honest, I want to start reading like some smut because can you say that? Because everything is like so serious right now. And I'm so fatigued as I'm decorating my Christmas tree from everything being so serious. So I think I need some escapism. I don't know if I need to start with like, oh, I should reach out to my friend LaShawn. She actually has a really good YouTube channel podcast where she does book reviews. I will link her channel. I'll put it up here and I'll also put it in the description box. She would have some good suggestions for me because A, she loves some good smut, and B, she loves like fantasy, that kind of thing. So I think I need to do some of that because I love movies, but my brain needs to read a book. I'm just like digitally fatigued, if that makes sense. So I don't know. Am I answering your question? That's what I'm reading right now. I just got 2 new novels from another friend. They're upstairs. I don't even remember the names of them. But I have a lot of fiction right now that I need to dive into. And I think my brain is ready to read some like light and happy and just kind of take a break. So I guess the answer is somewhere in between. What are the 3 must-haves? This is from Lisa Lofgren. For a summer, Viking, or any other line ocean cruise. We are going on an Istanbul to Venice cruise in July, and I would love to know your must-pack thoughts. For me, did she say a number? 3 must-haves. Okay, I would say an outfit or multiple outfits that will easily take you from day to night. Remember day to night Barbie? Somebody just brought that up the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, I never had a day to night Barbie. But I would have loved her because she was amazing. She had like this pink suit that like transformed into a cocktail dress. But I think definitely for Viking in particular, because they have a little more elevated dress code, I would go with outfits that you can either add a scarf or an outer layer that will work for you to be out doing your excursions and then like immediately go to dinner, like because you're going to be busy. So don't waste time. It's not, Downton Abbey. I always think about Cora in Downton Abbey. She was always complaining, not always, but she would always say, we'll be endlessly changing clothes. You're going to be super, super busy on a European cruise of any type. So anytime you can have an outfit that is like a base, y'all know I talk about that a lot in my what to pack for your European vacation wardrobe stuff, whatever I call those videos. Your base is something that's like a navy blue slacks, pants, and a navy blue top that you can add a scarf and a blazer and boom, it's like really elevated. Or you could just put on like a casual sweater and it's like middle of the road, like convertible clothes, right? That you can wear multiple different ways. That would be number 1. Number 2 would be take as few like toiletries and things, like pack light. So number 2, as far as must pack, is like you really don't must pack much. I was an English major. Can you tell? Just pack as light as you can because it's a lot. International travel is exhausting and having heavy luggage that you're hauling around is not fun. So pack as light as you possibly can. And then number 3, I would say, okay, I'm going to go with my travel fan. I think because cruise cabins, even if the temperature is good, when the door is closed, any cruise ship, they can feel super claustrophobic. And obviously, you're not going to want to sleep with the door open. I mean, maybe some of you do. I don't, with the veranda door open. Why do I have so many red ornaments? It's fine. Y'all know the little trick. You're supposed to put the smaller ones on the top, but maybe we'll just break all the rules today. Maybe that would be fine. So yeah, I would say a fan. I have a little plug-in one. It's USB. I will link it below for you guys. It's just that when the room feels a little stuffy, having that fan that you can plug in and just have blowing on your face at night. And yes, I realize look how cute that little one is. So sweet. These are not my like family ornaments. These I bought at Lowe's last year when I bought this tree. So I have hardly any sentimental attachment to any of these. I think there might be a few, but mostly they're just these like shatterproof cheapo ornaments, but I still like them. They're really pretty. So yeah, that would be it. I hope that helped. You really don't need that much. I mean, nobody overthinks what to wear on a cruise more than me, let's be real. But the truth is you could show up with like just a couple of outfits and your prescription medication and your eyewear and good shoes. I should have said that as number 3, so make that 3B. Good shoes, really good comfortable shoes, and preferably ones that are, if not waterproof, at least like won't get ruined in water, because that's the one thing. When you're out on an excursion, you know the expression, there's no such thing as poor weather, there's just being poorly prepared for the weather. Nothing will ruin an outdoor excursion quicker than it being pouring down rain. So yeah, definitely pack with inclement weather in mind and make sure your shoes will work with the weather. Have you ever thought of traveling to Canada? You guys are so sweet. I've been to Canada. Actually, when I was a kid, my grandparents lived in Washington State, and we would go over to Victoria, British Columbia on a fairly regular basis. So I've been to Canada a lot. I don't have any plans to go there right now, but honestly, I wish I did because I want to do a Alaskan cruise. But some of y'all know I'm not doing longer trips right now, just due to mom's health. About 4 nights, 5 nights is as long of a trip as I'm doing currently. And an Alaskan cruise is always at least 7 days. And then I've usually got a day on either side because I have to fly pretty far to get there. So yes, and also I want to do the whole like Prince Edward Island, Anne of Green Gables thing, but that has to be at least a week trip. So it's not happening probably in 2026, but there will come a time when I will visit Canada because I love Canada. I have so many Canadian followers and you guys are seriously the best. So you know that I love you. Oh, this is an interesting one. I didn't really look through these that much. I'm telling y'all, this is casual today. I love to travel, but have never done so as a solo traveler before. I'm 73, in good enough shape to walk quite a bit, but nothing too strenuous. And I'm an introvert and do have some anxiety issues. What would you recommend as starting point? River cruise, ocean cruise, group travel, solo specific group travel, carry on, don't strain your back and check the bag, that sort of thing. Okay, that was a lot. Like that could be a whole thing in and of itself. But let me answer the first question is what I'm going to answer. And I'm actually going to move you guys over a little bit. Okay, so I would, in your circumstances, I would highly, highly recommend a river cruise. I think river cruising, because of the fact that getting on and off the boat is so simple, because in most of the ports of call, now I've only been on one river cruise, so y'all can chime in the comments below. Have I only been on one river cruise? Or have I been on 2 river cruises? I feel like I've been on 2 river cruises. I've honestly started to lose track. At any rate, with a river cruise, you're usually pretty close in to the ports of call. So that makes it a lot less strenuous. And I just think that river cruises, because the ships are very small, you have small group excursions. If you're an introvert, the only problem is you will be dining with others in the evenings. But also I find that the crowd on a river cruise is generally on the more reserved side. Even with Viking, I feel like the ocean cruises are a little more party centric than the river cruises. The other thing about a river cruise is absolutely everything is pre-planned. So you could literally call up Viking today, give them all your money because they're not inexpensive. They're not inexpensive at all. And then you would be, on your way and you would have a delightful time and they would think of everything for you. And you could even just go with the included excursions and you would definitely get, I always tell you guys, I feel like European cruises of any kind are a taste of tour. You're not really going to see all of Europe, but you're definitely going to get a taste of different ports of call. You're going to get great food. You're going to get great learning experiences. So yeah, from the list you gave me, I'm going to go with river cruise is our answer. And I think you should book it right away. If there's one thing that this journey with mom has taught me is don't postpone the joy. If you have the money and you have the time and you have your health at the moment, you need to book it right now because you literally just never know and there's no time like the present. Okay, we're going to turn the tree on, you guys. I have a lot more decorating to do, but we're still going to turn the lights on. Oh, she's so pretty. Okay, this is a great one. If money and time were no obstacle and no pet and family obligations, where would you go in the world? And what would you do there? Oh my gosh, that is like, I'm going to have to sit down for that. So first of all, you didn't say if I could bring people with me. So I would definitely want to bring my family with me. And maybe not all of my family all at the same time, but I'd like to have some time with all of them and then some time with them individually, because as much as I love travel, my husband and my boys are my world. They are everything to me, and I would want them to be with me. Okay. So I think what I'd like to do is spend like a month in a house, maybe somewhere coastal and cool, like Spain or Portugal. A house that's like walkable to a village so that I could walk into town every day and get my groceries, really get to know the people that lived there, kind of, insert myself in the community a little bit, hear people's stories. I love hearing people's stories. I think that's my favorite thing about traveling, especially in different countries, to hear how they grew up, what's important to them, all of those kinds of things. So a month in a place like that. And then I would like to spend another month on an island somewhere that was really, really tropical and beautiful, but where I could do a lot of hiking. I love Hawaii. I realize travel to Hawaii has some negative connotations right now. We always travel in a very thoughtful, considerate way. I have been going to Hawaii since I was 2 years old. So Hawaii, particularly the island of Kauai, has a very, very special place in my heart. And I would visit thoughtfully, but to rent a place for a month there and do the same thing, to really just snorkel and hike and, just kind of insert myself in the community. It's always about that for me. I think I would love to spend a month in New York City. We love New York City. We love it very, very much. We love New Yorkers with all of their bluntness and how I always forget never, ever, ever to stand in the middle of the sidewalk and get yelled at. It's kind of a tradition. I would actually love to live in New York for a full year, so we could experience all 4 seasons. I think that would be amazing. It's a beautiful world. There are so many things I would love to do, and somebody must be here because the dogs are barking. So hold on. I would also love to do a transatlantic crossing. That has been on my bucket list for a long time. There's a couple problems with that right now because of obligations that I have, but at some point in my life, I have this fantasy of doing a transatlantic crossing. I would love to do it on the QE2, actually. I think that would be incredible. That's not in the cards for a while, but yeah, that would be really, really fun. And then a safari. I really want to do a safari at some point because I love animals so much. So I want to do a responsible, like on a conservation situation type of, a reserve, that kind of safari. I have a really good friend, Melissa Clerman. She's a travel writer, and she did a whole African trip. I think it was last year. So I'll try to find the link to her article. I decided this video too, I really wanted to shout out my wonderful friends because it's so tough in these streets right now. If you're a journalist or you're a YouTube creator or you're a blogger, it's so hard to get your people to see your stuff. So I'm going to use what I have, which is this platform. So I'm going to give a whole list of different people that I've mentioned, but Melissa's the best. I actually met she and her husband and their wonderful son on a Viking press trip that I did a couple years ago, and they've just become dear friends. But Africa is definitely on my list. So all of these things for me, because I'm petting a dog, if you want to know what I'm doing with my hands. All of these things for me are actually like I could do all these things. So I'm just trying to be. Thank you, Sadie. I have a list going, and I'm so grateful for any and all travel that I get to do. And this world is a beautiful place. So yeah, many, many lovely travels ahead. This was such a good question. Both kiddos just left for college. Nest is officially empty. Any advice for navigating the early phase of an empty nester life? Also, so looking forward to the cruise. Okay, that is from one of my patrons, and we have a patron cruise coming up. So if you're not a patron and that's something that you would like to do, we would love to have you join us. Everyone is welcome. I mean, if you're a patron, you're welcome. So that's going to be really exciting. Okay, tips for the first phase of empty nesting. The biggest thing for me is let yourself experience grief, because it is a big deal and you're gonna be sad. All 3 of my kids left at different phases, even though I have twins, they left at different times. And I'm really fortunate that 2 of my 3 sons still live fairly close to home. One of my sons is in Denver, which is rude, but I'm going to see him in December because I wasn't going to get to see him over the holidays at all. And I was like, that is not going to work for my mama's heart. So he can't really take much time off work. So I'm scheduling 2 nights in Denver and getting a hotel for myself and him and his fiance. And we're going to do like a little mini Christmas because I can't not see my kid over the holidays. But yeah, you're going to grieve. Like it's a very, very, very emotional thing. And you have worked all this time to raise these kids up. And then you just like have to release them. And it's scary and it's sad and you're happy and you're feeling all these emotions. And I think just don't let anybody tell you how you're supposed to feel or what you're supposed to do. You get to experience grief however you want, and just understand that feeling sad because your child is grown and flown is a perfectly normal response. And I think where we run into trouble is when we try to like just distract ourselves through that instead of fully letting ourselves feel the feelings. I would sit on, I think this is the thought I started and then ended. Sadie's moving pillows around. I would sit on the beds of the respective children as they left and just sob like a baby. Like it is that like, I've not experienced grief like that. It's almost as though, for me, it was almost as though someone had died. And it does you no good to be like, I'm being ridiculous. You're not being ridiculous. Like that's totally normal. And I think the more you embrace it and the more you look at your life and you're like, okay, this is the amount of time I now have. Although in the very beginning, you don't have as much time as you think because it's remarkable how much they still need you. And I've been happily surprised by that. Like even now, as my kids are all in their late 20s, they still need me a lot. I'm not sad about that. I think that's fantastic. But yeah, let yourself feel all the feelings and don't be afraid you don't have to just jump into other stuff. I think as women, we're so conditioned to just like get busy. Like if we're sad, just get busy. And then you can just like pretend it isn't happening. And I think you're going to have to work that grief out one way or the other. So you might as well just like let it be what it is and don't feel like you have to rush into a new volunteer thing or a new job, or you have to just like fill that void. Because to me, you got to feel those feelings. And that's how I was able to move through it. So yeah, it's tough. It's a beautiful, happy, sad, tough, joyous, depressing thing. I don't know what to tell you. It's a really effed up system. If you ask me, they should all live with us forever. What are your Thanksgiving dinner must-haves? Do you have any recipes that your kids always ask you to make? So yeah, we always have turkey. I actually ordered my turkey pre-cooked this year because I'm a vegetarian, y'all, and I have been roasting a turkey for years now. And last year I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So we ordered a pre-roasted turkey. So that's good. But we always do mac and cheese. We always do stuffing. We always do sweet potatoes. And lately, or the last few years, since the kids have been grown, we always put the tree up on Thanksgiving Day. So we also do Christmas cookies. My son's partner, Mike, used to be a pastry chef. He's a trained pastry chef. So they've kind of taken over, Will and Mike have kind of taken over the dessert situation. I'm not mad about that. I actually think that's fantastic. So they'll be bringing desserts and then I'll make Christmas cookies. I actually told Mom that I was going to have her bake with me. So, I mean, it's just kind of the normal American Thanksgiving. Oh, mashed potatoes. Always have to have mashed potatoes. I know y'all know my favorite trick, which is to make them ahead and then reheat them in the crock pot and they'll stay nice and moist. And then once they're hot enough, put them on warm and just leave them. Such a game changer. I try to make as much ahead as I possibly can because I don't like a lot of stress on Thanksgiving Day itself. I like that day to just be fun and happy and chill. I grew up with a lot of yelling on major holidays, and so I really try to have that not be the case. So I'll make a lot ahead. I'll buy a lot pre-made. I will not be making rolls from scratch. I probably will even, quite frankly, buy the mac and cheese from Costco. I just like it to be a fun, happy day. And especially now that we also decorate the tree on that day, it's a lot. We always have to watch the parade and have cinnamon rolls in the morning. And it has to be the cheap Pillsbury cinnamon rolls. Can't be I tried one year to make like really fancy homemade cinnamon rolls. And the kids were like, nah, like we need regular Pillsbury, thank you very much. So stuff like that. It's just always the same. And I love that it's always the same. Deviled eggs. I always make deviled eggs. I make those a day ahead. I like it. I love Thanksgiving. Over the years, I love Christmas, but over the years, I think I've decided I like Thanksgiving even a little bit more because the focus is really on just being together. And there's something about that moment when like the Thanksgiving meal is over and there's Christmas carols playing in the background and you're stuffed and the dishes aren't quite done, but you don't care. And everyone's like finishing off the wine. That just is like my favorite moment of the entire year. I absolutely love it. Okay, I'm going to sit down for this next one because it's kind of serious. You mentioned having an end-of-life plan for your mother. Could you tell us a little more about how that came to be in writing? Who was involved? Did you follow some guidelines or pre-printed plan? So it was not a pre-printed plan. It did evolve over time through multiple conversations. And my brother and sister and I actually started having these conversations with her a long time before she started exhibiting symptoms of dementia, which ended up being really good because now I'm not even sure I know she would not be able to like conceptualize all of that. We learned when my dad passed that it's still wildly expensive, even the most simple funeral plan and all of that. So she learned a lot through that process too. And we had those conversations many years ago. And then as far as like an advance directive, her DNR, all of those kinds of things, we did those when she started to have symptoms of dementia. We did that in combination with a lawyer and her doctor. And I think having those conversations as soon as you can is super, super important. Like my kids already know what my end of life desires are. I even have a funeral song already picked out. It's Good Riddance by Green Day, if you want to go. Otherwise known as the song they played on the last episode of Seinfeld. Yeah, Good Riddance is my funeral song. It's actually a really beautiful song if you listen to the words. It's not negative at all. So yeah, it's... I think it's if you're not having that, if you are a human being, you're gonna die. Maybe that will be my hook. I'll do a little hook at the beginning. Yay! So happy. Let's decorate the tree. So you can start talking about that as early as you want. If you already know what you want, get it in writing and make sure the people that you love know about it and have open conversations. You're not helping anybody by walking on eggshells around, are you going to die? 100% of us are going to die. I just shook the table. Sorry. 100% of us are going to die. So as soon as to me, it makes it less sad. I think some of you, when we were doing our estate planning and we moved everything over to a trust and we did all this stuff, and our lawyer, who I absolutely adored, when we signed the last piece of paper, literally said, okay, you're ready to die. And it was like so morbid, but also it was a relief because it was like, we can't control hardly anything, but we can control what our kids have to go through when we pass. And so that was all taken care of. So yeah, if you haven't talked about it yet, talk about it now, get it in writing, make sure everybody is on the same page. And I think it's the best thing you can do for everybody involved. Oh, here it is. Hi, Jen. Any plans for Vlogmas? Someone else asked about advent calendars. You can see the advent calendars here in the background. Yes, we will be doing Vlogmas. I think what I'm going to do for Vlogmas this year, Annalise and I were just talking about this on our call last week. That's my wonderful virtual assistant. I will be doing a vlog every weekend, a very fun vlog for a very fun trip that I'm not ready to tell you about yet that's coming up. And then during the week, I'll be doing at least 2 to 3 videos. It probably won't be every day, but they'll be vlog style. It will be just coming along with us as we do all of our exciting things plus boring things plus like they'll be baking, all the stuff I always do over Vlogmas. I'm feeling like this year more than ever, we all need just like some happy and normal for the holidays. I know that there's quite a few people online talking about boycotting Christmas, and I'm like, hell to the no. I don't know how many Christmases I have left with my mom. This could be her last one. I'm 55. I don't know how many Christmases I have left. I am not going to let what's going on in the world right now take away any joy. Having said that, I'm still not shopping Amazon. I'm still not shopping Target. I'm still shopping small stores as much as humanly possible. Most of what I'm doing with the Advent calendar, these are small brands. I'm super excited about that. I have another one right in front of me. This is a great brand. This is Apothecary. Right here, this is a great female-owned brand. Look how pretty this is. It's a 25-piece advent calendar. I bought this one kind of impulsively, but look at the inside, you guys. Isn't that beautiful? Like, I cannot wait to dig into these. So yes, we are doing Vlogmas. So now is a great opportunity. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you go ahead and do so, because Vlogmas is going to be lit. It's going to be lit, and I'm super excited about it. I'm going on my first Disney cruise ever this January on the Fantasy. My question for you, is there one thing that you absolutely must do at least once on Castaway Key? Oh, golly, I love Castaway Key so much. I think if you like to snorkel, do the snorkeling. The reef where you snorkel, there are so many cool things buried out there. There's a statue of Prince Eric, there's a ship, there's a Mickey, there's all these little things you can look for. It's really, really fun snorkeling. I also think if you're an adult, definitely take the time to go out to Serenity Bay, because there's, especially if you're a little bit away from like where the bar is, it is so peaceful and quiet out there. I think that's probably my favorite thing about Castaway Key anymore, especially if it's not a great snorkeling day. I am taking the shuttle out there, parking myself, and you will not see me again until it's time to go back to the ship. I just find like I can hear the waves lapping up on the shore as we're having this conversation. It is just beautiful and peaceful and lovely and all of the things. And then a bartender will come by and you can order a margarita or a drink of the day. And there's just nothing to not like about that. So I think don't really look at what you're like, don't schedule your day super busy on Castaway Key. The whole spirit of Castaway Key is to just like let the day happen and just enjoy the day and have great conversations. I have had some of the best conversations with perfect strangers in the ocean out at Serenity Bay. There's just something that happens when we're all standing in the ocean that all like inhibition, well, not all inhibitions. I don't want you to think it's like Daytona at spring break, but people will talk about a lot of things out there, and it's one of my favorite places to chat with fellow humans and hear people's stories. So yeah, that's what I would say. Oh, now I want to go. I have been a follower for quite a while. Thank you. My question is about trip planning. Best ways to decide on itinerary and accommodations for a plan your own European trip. How do you decide where to stay and must-do activities on your own? We actually used Claude, not ChatGPT. Scott likes Claude when we were planning this latest trip to Switzerland. And I think I would not let AI plan your whole trip, because A, it can be wrong. B, I like to support like actual blogs and actual journalists. However, how we found out about Lake Maggiore is we actually put into Claude, we want to go to Lake Como, but we're worried about crowds. Where should we go instead? And it recommended Lake Maggiore. And so that's literally how we found that. We would never have found that place otherwise. Now, then I started doing my own research. The hotel we stayed in, I found here on YouTube. But I think it can be a great starting point, especially because you can put in an area that you're interested in and then be like, look how cute that is. I made that. Oh no, did Cindy make this? My friend Cindy made this. I did not make this. I am lying. Cindy made this. You can be like, how, what is there to do in Locarno, Switzerland? And it will give you all of these things. You're then going to want to build on that yourself, but that's a great idea. You guys know I love Rick Steves. I think he gives such great advice. I love his books. I love his shows. That's a great place to go. YouTube is a great place to go. I would say be very cautious to not overpack your itinerary because I think that's really tempting. And you have to remember that you're going to be tired. You're going to be a little jet lagged. You're going to be in a new environment. All of those things are exhausting. So Scott and I have gone with the same basic outline when we travel for the last several trips. We did this in Greece. We did this in Hawaii before Greece. And we did it for this last trip. Every day we do something cultural, every day we do something physical, and every day we do something chill. So you might visit a museum in the morning and then have a really long, beautiful lunch and a nap, and then maybe you'll go for a hike as the sun is setting or whatever, wherever you are. And I don't like a trip that is just like boom, 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 like activity after activity after activity. I want to leave some room to breathe. And so I would say whatever you think you're going to do, like cut it in half. And you can always have like backup plans. Like if we get done with all this and we're bored, which would never happen, here are some backup things we can do. But you have to leave room to let the trip kind of evolve on its own. That's the beauty of doing a trip on your own instead of doing a cruise, is you can leave room for that kind of thing. Okay, we we still have more ornaments to put on, but I'm going to get up on this chair. So I'm not going to film that while I get up on the chair because I don't want to scare you guys. And I'm going to put this little bow up. So hold on. Look how pretty. I put the ribbon. I love doing the ribbon from the top. It's so simple, but it kind of works as like a garland. So see, you can just like drape it down. Isn't that so fun, you guys? I love that. I'm just going to wrap that around like that. Okay, you guys, so the tree is pretty much done. I'm going to probably futz with it a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know if the ribbons are right yet. You know, it takes me a while. But I'm really excited to start filming holiday content for you guys down here. I think it's going to be a beautiful holiday season. I think it's going to be a really joyful Vlogmas. And I think that because I am going to give it my all to make sure that during those 4 weeks when we are celebrating the Advent season together, that we can find a spot here on the internet where we can spend some time in all of the warm and cozy and just taking a break from all of the madness that is in the world right now. So whatever you're doing, I hope you're finding joy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.